Hey everyone, this is Yami, your Latina next door. Welcome back to my channel. If you have been following along, you know I have been sharing some holiday decor DIYs, and in this one I'm going to show you how to take these mini houses from Dollar Tree and decorate it in several different ways that will last you throughout the following seasons. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Okay, so I know some of you guys can't find this, and that's totally fine. You can still watch these DIYs because in my next video, I'm going to show you guys how to make these from scratch. These houses are really adorable and they can be changed really easily by either painting the inside or covering the existing pattern with new scrapbook paper. And while they look perfectly okay with this, I wanted to step it up a notch. So I decided to create my very own farmhouse inspired Christmas village and show you all how you can reuse these over and over again since these are in short supply. So I started by creating a pattern for the inside of the house and started cutting new scrapbook paper in order to cover the inside, as I was not fond of the orange flowers. Now, as you can see, these are a little hard to align perfectly. So in order to prevent any of that floral pattern to show through any areas that I might not have cut as close to the wood, I just went ahead and took some gray chalk paint and painted those borders. Of course, this is optional. This is just my preference. Once that was dry, I used this large glue stick that I found in the school section at Dollar Tree. It actually works pretty good. And this is what I use to adhere that on. And as you can see, no pattern shows through. I had 5 of these little houses and I did that to all of them. Now this was a great start for what I was going to do next. So next I needed to cut out several patterns of the inside of the houses in white poster board, and I used the ones from Dollar Tree. After I traced the patterns, I used a straight edge as well as a box cutter in order to get really straight lines. Once I created several of these patterns, I did the same thing to some foam board. I used some that I had on hand from Hobby Lobby. It is a much higher quality one than the ones from Dollar Tree. You can use the ones from Dollar Tree, but just to let you know, sometimes they kind of have some ridges on them, so they don't look perfectly flat. So at this point, I had all of my little houses lined with the new scrapbook paper, as well as several foam cutouts and several poster board cutouts. And I was using some old poster board that I had on hand. Now I didn't show this, but I cut 2 squares for the windows on a foam board piece, as well as 1 rectangular piece for the door. I will also be layering a poster board pattern on top of that foam pattern. So I lay it on top and I trace out the windows and door and cut them out. Now layering them is not necessary. However, I do think it gives the face of the little farmhouse a much cleaner look. And then I adhere the poster board on top of the foam board with the glue stick as well. Of course, if there are any excess little pieces, I trim them off with the box cutter at this time. Next is when the fun begins, and I use these cute little wood stirrers that only cost $3 for 1,000 of these, and I will link them below if you guys want to check them out. So I will measure the little areas around the windows and door, and I will cut them down to size. Once they were all cut, I began gluing them down the perimeters of the doors and little windows. You can use any glue for this: school glue, tacky glue, or even hot glue. And of course I had to make a cute little barn door, so I took the little cutout from the door and put glue all over it that lined it up with a whole bunch of stir sticks. Once they were dry, I cut them down to size. Then I began to add the end pieces. And then the diagonal one. And then of course I added some small stir sticks on the sides of the door to finish it off. So next I flipped over the little house portion and decided to add little diagonal stir sticks along the windows. I flipped the house over again and hot glued the little barn door on. So next, I take these little tumbling blocks from the Dollar Tree toy section and I glue them to the back like this. And you will see why in just a minute. Now you guys can have total fun with this and make these as simple or as complicated as you want them to. Here I am actually making a cute little awning for this door. I was having way too much fun with this, you guys. Oh my god, isn't this so cute, you guys? Okay, I'll stop. Anyways, so back to putting these together. So the reason you're going to put these tumbling blocks on the foam pieces is because you want it to leave space for the LED lights that you're going to put inside these little houses so that you can light them up. These tumbling blocks will also make sure that the spacing for all the houses are even and allow you to insert your finger. That way you can turn off the little LED lights or also remove the front face whenever you want to change them out for a different season or another design. And here is what they look like finished. Now I chose to leave the wood unfinished because I like this look, but you can totally paint this any color scheme you want. I also didn't fasten all of the LED lights since I was doing several DIYs in this video. Okay, so now for the next version, I will be using one of the foam board little house frames, as well as this little pumpkin, also from Dollar Tree, and it comes 6 in 1 pack. First, I'll trace the pumpkin, and then I will carefully cut it with my box cutter. In order to get a nice clean line, you will have to take your time with this one. You will most likely have to flip it over and cut from the back as well. And then of course sand off any rough edges. Next, I cut some buffalo check scrapbook to fit this little house as well. I also traced the pumpkin and cut it out. I adhered it on the foam board with a glue stick. Next, I flipped the little foam board over, took some scrap burlap, and adhered it to the back of the foam. I wanted lights to shine through the burlap little pumpkin, so I added little LED lights to this one as well, turned them on, and put the little pumpkin on top, and as you can see, I added some fall berries to it as well. I adhered the same buffalo check scrapbook pattern on 3 other frames, and then took some of those same berries from some old fall bushes, and I cut them up and then decided to start spelling out letters with them on those little frames. And that is it for this little sweet fall sign. Of course, I'm sure you've noticed that we haven't even touched the back of these signs. Now you can always add these and glue them on permanently, or you can use some double-sided sticky tape and some scrapbook paper and change it out seasonally. Now for this, I'm going to be using these pumpkin and fall stickers. They have these cute little sticky tabs on the back of them, and you find them at Dollar Tree as well. Now for this one, I'm just going to stack 3 different size pumpkins to make a cute little pumpkin topiary on top of this little house. Now for this one, I wanted to give it a little bit of a 3D effect, and as you can see, I still have the other little house behind it. I take one of these tumbling blocks and adhere the pumpkin onto it to give it like a 3D effect. Now you see me adhering it this way, but I end up popping it off later and adhering it on its side so that there's not so big of a gap between the pumpkin and the house. I also add some more of these smaller little pumpkins to the front of it. Now to change things up, I decided to flip this one and add that same buffalo check in gray to the inside of this little house. This time I glue 3 little tumbling blocks together fit it inside the little house and glue the pumpkin in front of it there. And then of course I add some more pumpkins to match the rest. And then for this one I use one of the Dollar Tree little tea lights, add it to the back of the pumpkins, and then place it in the front of the house. And that is it for this set of little Dollar Tree houses. And of course you can always mix things up and not have to have everything so matchy-matchy. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys liked all of these options. Of course, I'd love to hear in the comments which one of these you like the most. And if you're one of the few who cannot find these houses, make sure you stick around for the next video, since I will show you guys how to make these houses from scratch. Now don't forget to hit like and subscribe so I can see you guys in the next video. Until then, adios!